My name is Li Jieqin. I'm a Chinese teacher at Oak Hill Middle School in Newton, Massachusetts. My presentation today is Accessible for All, Applying UDL Principles in Foreign Language Curriculum Design. The goals for the session, we will be able to understand UDL and its principles and guidelines, and also offer multiple means of representation, engagement, and expression in foreign language curriculum design. The agenda is here. First, we are going to look at UDL and its principles and guidelines. I'm going to show you a quick video to get an overview of UDL.
This teacher needs to meet a curriculum goal, and she's got a very diverse group of students. And so does this teacher. And this one. Most do. In fact, research shows that the way people learn is as unique as their fingerprints. What does this mean for teachers of today? Classrooms are highly diverse, and curriculum needs to be designed from the start to meet this diversity. Universal design for learning is an approach to curriculum that minimizes barriers and maximizes learning for all students. Whoa, that's a fancy term. Universal design for learning. Let's unpack it a bit. Let's think about the word universal. By universal, we mean curriculum that can be used and understood by everyone. Each learner in a classroom brings her own background, strengths, needs, and interests. Curriculum should provide genuine learning opportunities for each and every student. Now let's think about the word learning. Learning is not one thing. Neuroscience tells us that our brains have three broad networks. One for recognition, the what of learning, one for skills and strategies, the how of learning, and one for caring and prioritizing, the why of learning. Students need to gain knowledge, skills, and enthusiasm for learning, and a curriculum needs to help them do all three. But every learner is unique, and one size does not fit all. So how do we make a curriculum that challenges and engages diverse learners? This is where the word design comes in. A universally designed building is planned to be flexible and to accommodate all kinds of users, with and without disabilities. It turns out that if you design for those in the margins, your building works better for everyone. Curb cuts and ramps are used by people in wheelchairs, people with strollers, and people on bikes. Captioning on TV serves people who are deaf, people learning English, people in gyms, and spouses who get to sleep at different times. UDL takes this idea and applies it to the design of flexible curriculum. UDL goes beyond access because we need to build in support and challenge. So how do we use the UDL framework to make learning goals, methods, materials, and assessments that work for everyone? First, ask yourself, what is my goal? What do I want my students to know, do, and care about? Then ask, what barriers in the classroom might interfere with my diverse students reaching these goals? To eliminate the barriers, use the 3 UDL principles to create flexible paths to learning so that each student can progress. Number 1, provide multiple means of representation. Present content and information in multiple media and provide varied supports. Use graphics and animation, highlight the critical features, activate background knowledge, and support vocabulary so that students can acquire the knowledge being taught. Number 2, provide multiple means of action and expression. Give students plenty of options for expressing what they know and provide models, feedback, and supports for their different levels of proficiency. Number 3, provide multiple means of engagement. What fires up one student won't fire up another. Give students choices to fuel their interests and autonomy. Help them risk mistakes and learn from them. If they love learning, they will persist through challenges. And remember, always keep in mind the learning goal. Get rid of barriers caused by the curriculum and keep the challenge where it belongs. And that's it. Okay, quick recap. Show the information in different ways, allow your students to approach learning tasks and demonstrate what they know in different ways, and offer options that engage students and keep their interest. Universal design for learning equals learning opportunity.
So what is UDL? UDL is Universal Design for Learning. It's an education framework that recognizes learner variability and is a blueprint for creating instruction goals, methods, materials, and assessments. It's based on the evidence of neuroscience and it's about pedagogy. And here are the 3 brain networks for learning, and they are for the why, what, and how of learning. And the 3 principles of UDL to provide multiple means of representation, multi-means of action and expression, and multi-means of engagement. On CAST, it provides detailed guidelines for UDL and also a checklist for UDL guidelines. Hyperlinks are provided in the handout. So the goals of UDL guidelines are to cultivate learners who are purposeful and motivated, resourceful and knowledgeable, strategic and goal-oriented. Now let's look at UDL principles and foreign language curriculum design. So the UDL lens: access, engage, and express. And as an educator who designs curriculum and delivers instruction, we are going to just maximally increase the accessibility for variability in learning so that students benefit from guided learning express and also from independent and self-directed practice. Now we think about the foreign language we teach. So we know the 3 modes of communication is interpretive, interpersonal, and presentational. And also the 4 language domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And that's really where we can build in options for students and apply UDL principles. Now let's look at representation. That's also the what of language learning. So representation is about how we deliver the content to students, how students get the information, get the language they need to accomplish certain goals. And as a teacher, we are going to design the curriculum that delivers information in multiple medias. For example, sound, music and audio, video, closed captioning, magazine, books and literature, graphs, presentation, and lecture. There are so many ways we can deliver the content. So in summary, it can be auditory, it can be a video, and it can be on paper. And here is what it looks like. So different students in the same class, they receive different materials they need or materials in different ways that are presented so that they use whatever works best for them, and then they can build their best airplane. This is an example I use in my class. It's from the book Discovering Chinese Pro. So as you can see for my students, when I present the conversations, the text to them, I have different versions at different stage of learning and also at the same stage of learning, but also for different learners at different level and with different strengths and background. So here is a version of animations with character and pinyin, and here is with characters only. This one is with just the chat bubble so that students can fill in the conversation with their imagination using the language they know and they have learned. And here is a plain text conversation. So as I can think of in my own Chinese class, I have a very big range of students and learners. I have heritage learners. I have students with family who speak Chinese or read and write Chinese. Some students, they are super motivated. They learn more in their own time. And some students, they need more support and scaffolding. So by customizing the text and conversation and information I deliver to them, I can really help every single student. And also, here is an example of what it looks like in a thematic unit. So when I think about family unit, because maybe as you know, the family members in Chinese is very complicated. We have so many family member names. So how can we make it easy for students so they can easily memorize this or memorize whatever are important to them? I can choose the media videos, audios, images, and also books and pictures. So different ways I can present it to them. I can deliver the content. And even for videos, I can choose different videos. I'm going to show you the different styles and you can feel the difference.
Mama, mother, Baba.
So this is a flashcard.
爸爸的爸爸叫什么？爸爸的爸爸叫爷爷。爸爸的妈妈叫什么？爸爸的妈妈叫奶奶。爸爸的哥哥叫什么？爸爸的哥哥叫伯伯。爸爸的弟弟叫什么？爸爸的弟弟叫叔叔。
Here is a song containing all the family members. Now let's look at this one.
Hey, I'm going to China again.
Oh, that's great. What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to go visit all my relatives in my village.
Okay, do you know what to call them?
Yeah, like, uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters, the usual.
Ha! Let me show you the Chinese family tree. So here's you. We all know the basics. Your mom is your mama, your dad is your baba, your older brother is Gogo, your older sister is Jie, your younger sister is Mei, your younger brother is Didi. His dad, your grandpa, is Ye, his mom, your grandma is...
So as you can see, the video is done by two heritage Asian Americans. So and the pace is very fast, but the good thing is there is a background. So they are talking about I'm traveling to China, and the other person asks, "Are you prepared for the complicated family names?" So they do have a real life scenario here, and it may apply to some of my students. And this family tree is a tree with branches with family members, and this is a relationship chart with the names and the relationship. And here, this one is a book which introduces the family member names in a storyline, and this is a TV show. So there are so many ways I can deliver the content to students based on students' needs, and it's good to provide options so that students can pick whatever works for them. And now let's look at the engagement, also the why of language learning. So to keep students' engagement, of course, we need to provide choices so they feel they have something to choose from, and we can use interactive games. Always encourage teamwork. We can give students self-reflectioning on choices. We can use music or audio cues for routine, and we can use real-life examples, pictures, personal goal setting allowed for students, so they have customized goal setting, and also community project. That's when we do project-based learning, bringing the learning to the community level. And I'm going to talk about the examples in my own classes. So to keep students engaged, I use Pear Deck add-on to Google Slides, basically every single class. And I try to build in the prompts so students can interact with the content at the maximum level, sorry. And then here, as you can see, I have different choices. I can add text and multiple choice questions, and numbers, websites, drawing, draggable questions to students. I can also add audio to the slides so that students really get a very functioning slide page they can interact with and get the most of the slide. And I also try to balance the listening, speaking, reading, and writing so that students also have choices around the 4 language domains. They know which parts they need to improve most, and they can pick whatever is useful to them. And here, so when students practice, I do provide lots of options so that they have something to choose from and so that they can be engaged because they love the content they learn with. As you can see here is the pinyin pronunciation practice because some students need to practice the accuracy of pinyin pronunciation and some people need to improve on the tones. And this one is for the characters. So characters with animation can give students a knowledge what are the writing character strokes, which part to write first and which part to write second, and they have the option to play it after they write it, or they can download it if they really like it, and then maybe print it to decorate the room. So these are all the ways we can build in engagement. And also provide choices with listening comprehension, speaking activity for the interpersonal mode, and reading so that students can practice the literacy skill, and writing so they can improve on the grammar mastery and also practice their typing. And also give students opportunity and options for group activity. So after they practice on their own independently, they should have opportunities, the options to work in a group so they can build collaboration and teamwork around working on the content of language learning. And when I ask students to practice vocabulary or conversations I put on Quizlet, I always give them options so they can choose if they want to practice with flashcards, learn, write, spell, test. I'm going to play that matching, gravity, or Quizlet Live. They have that options around there, and then they can pick whatever that they feel they like. And also when we do interactive games, we use GameKit a lot, also use Kahoot, Quizlet Live, depends on the mood or the certain group of my students. So what do they want to do? They have the options there for them. For GameKit, I always give them options to decide if they want to do boss battle mode, which is one versus the remaining of the class, and or the classic mode, which is one-on-one, or team mode, which is group to group. So students always become excited when they get to choose. And this is game kit, what it looks like. And we also do a kit club, which is students create the kit. So they contribute to making the questions, and then we put together a kit to play with. So these are the ways I give choices. And now let's look at the expression and also the how of language learning. So how students can demonstrate their learning, can show what they can do with the language they learn. Expressions can include many things, including drawing software, whiteboards, typing, act out, playing, making a poster, arts, crafts, making drawing on paper, speech to text, text to speech, or assistive technology. There are so many ways we can give students choices, options to decide how they are going to express their understanding. So this is an example of me and my students use Google Drawing. Here, the picture is for the community unit. When we learn about what's in your community, and my students, this is students doing ideal community on Google Drawing. So the student designed a town full of all the functioning places, and it's just a beautiful work. This one is the schedule. So after we learned the schedule, how to talk about your schedule, your what period of the day, the time, and things, students choose to make a schedule for their own classes, but just in Chinese. So they are very excited because after they use it, they make it, they are going to use it. And some students choose to make it on Google Drawing, so it's easier for them to do coloring and make changes. Some students did on paper. Both of them are very happy. And this is Koggle. Koggle is mind mapping tool, so students can form their thinking and organize their thinking on Koggle. So here you can see this is about the fruits. So talk about fruits and preferences, what fruit you like and don't like, and give a reason. So what amazed me is I really saw students make their own choice, their own choices on how to organize the information on Koggle. Here is a student organized categories the fruits by whether they're berries or citrus or tropical fruits. So in that way, I know, okay, this is a logic working for them, and it's pretty interesting. This one is transportation. So students talk about what transportation they like to take or don't like to take when they are traveling, and give the reasons. Is that because of the price, or is that crowded or not crowded? Is that convenient? Is that fast? So different kind of reasons. And this is how students, my student organized it. So students really get their own opportunity to decide what they are going to do. And on Padlet, students can make their thinking visible and also share their thinking and their resources with others easily. So this is for the clothing unit. I asked students to find a celebrity of their own choice. It can be a cartoon or it can be a real person. And they're going to talk about in that picture or video they find online what is the person wearing. So students were super excited because they get to think about, oh, this is a celebrity I pick, and this is a particular outfit I pick. So they get very excited when they describing that in Chinese. And when students demonstrate their learning, I give them options to do it with a speaking assessment or writing assessment. With speaking, they have opportunity to have the spontaneous practice with me, just person to person, or they can make recordings on different platforms if they prefer that way. So on Flipgrid, I just post the instructions, and then they're going to make recordings. They can decide they do audio or video, and they can choose the emojis for their cover. It's pretty cool. And also, I also provide the assessments on Schoology. So it depends on which platforms they prefer and the convenience level of them accessing the platform at home. The whole point we have here is just to give students options, no matter you're delivering content or you're teaching, you want to engage them, or you are doing assessment. So students have options to decide how to express their learning. And so that way, students will be happy learners, and we can support more students. It's really like you have a box of donuts in front of you. They are so colorful. Everyone's different. I have choices. I can decide which one is the yummiest one to me. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, here is my email.